What's happening, YouTube? Hope everybody had a good weekend. You're in here with one part of the Black Avengers or current culture. I'm sure the fellas will be falling in here in a few minutes. Give them some time. You know how they do. They might be a little late, but they always show up and they always make things happen. We've got a lot to cover today. And let me just go ahead and shout out all my super chatters, man. Y'all hold me down. But instead of doing the super chat right here on the channel, people have been hitting me up at Cash App Life Games because it doesn't take away as much of the money that YouTube takes away when they do their super chats. Oh, here we go with Larry. What's up, homie?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm just chatting with the people, telling them I hope they had a good weekend. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. You know, one of those things. It was a long week, so it's been a long couple weeks, I guess it feels like. But yeah, you know, it was hot. My air conditioning went out, so
Oh no, no, not when it just get
yeah,
hot. Oh my
it went
goodness.
out on like Friday night. It went out, and and so it was just blazing hot. It's funny because I just got a little fan to do a review on. So I was using that little fan, but I was like, that's just not enough. I need some more. And so I went to Best Buy and did one of those curbside things and bought a fan. And
Hey,
and luckily our air conditioner, the repairman came today and got it all fixed up. So we're good.
okay, man. Can't be dealing with no heat, bro. Especially
Nah,
not
man,
over here, man. My skin soak up heat like chocolate melting in heat. I can't deal with no heat. Mm-mm.
it was hot as blazes, man.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
hot as blazes.
Now let me shout out everybody that's watching. I appreciate all 35 of y'all that's in here right now. Be sure to subscribe to both of our channels, like the video, leave us comments, super chat via the Cash App. Link is right there. Cash App Life Gain. And let's just discuss what we're going to do today. So, Larry, I've got 3 pop culture issues we're going to cover. We got a movie
Okay.
trailer to review. Of course, I got Marvel. I've got some more Tesla news when we talk about money. But I also got 7 dividend stocks everyone should have in their portfolio. Well, not all of them, but a few of them. And then we
Okay.
had a brand new ETF come on the stock market. First day was today, and I gobbled up a whole bunch of shares of them. We'll discuss that when we get to the money section. What's up,
Nice.
Buck? What's up, my folk, Duke? And we're going to go ahead and dive on into the first topic of pop culture. So, Larry, so that your mind is ready, we're going to talk about Drew Brees blocking Trump when Trump wanted Drew Brees not to do the apology. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
also cover an ex-football player by the name of Reche Caldwell, man. They found him murdered, man. It's pretty horrible. Young dude, man. Real young.
Dang.
And last but not least, we're going to talk about the definition of defunding the police. Is now a good time to do it. So let's go ahead and let's do Reche Caldwell first, because the other two kind of pertain to politics. And as
Okay.
we do this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump in here. Before we go, by the way, go to shoplifegames.com. Get yourself one of these beautiful t-shirts. Any one of them looks good. Larry's got some. I got some. We're going to keep this movement going. Be sure to go there and get one of these cheap t-shirts at shoplifegames.com. Here we go with the story of Reche Caldwell.
Reche Caldwell, former NFL wide receiver who played with Tom Brady, was shot and killed in Tampa on Saturday. His mother confirms. He was only 41 years old. Caldwell's mother tells us Reche, real name Donald, was getting ready to take his girlfriend out on a date when he went back inside his home to grab a jacket. The former player was ambushed by a couple of people who jumped out of the bushes trying to rob him. We're told he was shot in the leg and chest, and someone called 911. The injuries were so severe he died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Such a sad story. He was a good person who smiled all the time, Deborah Caldwell tells us. He tried to help everyone he could. He was the type of guy who would take the shirt off his back and give it to you. We've reached out to authorities, and this is what they have said. It appears Caldwell was targeted, not a random act. Upon arrival, they located an adult male victim in the front yard of the residence. Officers immediately began providing life-saving measures Tampa Fire Rescue arrived and transported him to a nearby hospital. It does not appear to be random. However, we're very early in the investigation. Detectives are working to develop leads. Updates will be provided.
Man,
Yeah.
from everything I heard about this dude in his community, he was beloved. He gave to charity. He went to these protests. One of his worst games in the NFL, however, I remember saying to Crystal, they need to chill out with the way they're talking about this man. They was talking about his eyes were really big on the field, as if he didn't blink. And he kept dropping passes from Tom Brady left and right. I mean, this was like a big game. He couldn't catch soup if you tied a can to it. He was dropping everything. I mean, literally. And every time he dropped the football, his eyes went like this. And needless to say, when they lost that game, he got cut and he never really found his way in the NFL again. And a lot of people say they attribute that bad game to what he did. But off the field, dude was a standout citizen. I hate hearing these stories. They don't have any more information on why he was targeted. But in any event, man, rest in peace from what I do know of Reche Caldwell. Very sad. Yeah. I give it to you, Larry.
Yeah, I don't really know much about this story, and I'm not sure what happened during the encounter. If he was, if he got ambushed and fought back or whatever. It's one of those tricky things because they say if you're getting robbed or something like that, don't fight back. They say just give them whatever it is that they want. And that could be tough sometimes, especially if you have something on you that's sentimental, or if you don't have a lot and they're taking what may feel like almost everything or the stuff that's important to you. It could be a difficult decision to make, but you just have to remember that if you were able to get it once, you'll be able to get it again. I mean, people will rob you for material items and it sucks. It feels bad. You feel violated. I've been robbed before. When I was in grad school, I was working on my thesis film and I got robbed for my camera. So it happens. You feel violated.
Did you put up a fight, or did you put up a fight? You just gave it to him? How did it go down?
No, the person snatched it and ran. They snatched it, and the dude had a car waiting for him, so he snatched it and ran. This dude, man, he was like bounding over fences like he was an Olympic hurdler or something, man. I was trying to chase dude down, but he got in the car and took off before I could get to him. And so it happens, man. It sucks. It sucks,
You got robbed by Usain Bolt, sounds like. Damn.
I know, man. So, but the important thing is that you don't do anything in those encounters that can get you killed. And if you fight back, most of the time people don't really want to bother you. They just want whatever it is you have. So if they come for your stuff and you just give it up, most of the time they just want to get in and out as quick as possible. So it sucks, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's nothing on the face of this planet materially that's worth my life.
Okay.
There's just not. I mean, there's some stuff that's sentimental that I don't want to see, gone because you can't replace it. It's like you can't replace a wedding ring. You can get a new wedding ring, but you can't replace your wedding band that you got when you got married. So that's just one of those things. If you have something that a parent that passed away gave you or something like that, those are things that are difficult, but they're still not worth your life. So,
well, I don't know what his story was, man, but we'll find out in the coming weeks. Just hearts go out to his family. I hope they can heal. I hope they can find refuge in what happened. These are always sad times when someone dies, when it feels like it happened too early. They had so much more living to do, and hearts will be with them, man. Now we got to talk about your boy Drew Brees.
That's your man's in them.
Hey, look, man, I was caking up for Drew Brees for the longest time, but this right here just hurt my feelings. He had a conversation with my uncle Shay Sharp this weekend. Shay Sharp dropped the hammer on him, let him know, Drew, you're gonna have to do a lot of work to come back from this. And that leads to a bigger discussion. when someone is outed per se, I wouldn't even say Drew Brees is racist because I don't think he is. But if someone's outed as a racist, are they then forever racist? And that kind of goes in line with, can Drew really turn the corner from this just dropping of the ball he did with the black people, the black community, Black Lives Matter, black equality? I think that maybe over time through his behavior, he can. But one thing that he did that made me feel good, which is what he should have done before he said what he said, was take a look at what he said in response to, since you want to give me Drew Brees, I'm going to give you the person he was responding to. And the man's name is Trump.
Oh, God. I'm not taking either one.
Hold on, man. Let me see. Where is my clip at? DJ, give me.
Reche Caldwell, former NFL wide receiver who played with Reche Caldwell.
Not it. Well, anyway, I guess I don't have that one. But long story short, Trump came out and said, Drew Brees, why are you apologizing? I'm paraphrasing what he said. You should never apologize for loving our country, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Drew Brees came back and said, no, I was wrong. If we're not all included in the country, how can we? Is this something like that? Drew Brees smacked back Trump. Trump didn't say anything back to Brees. But the question here is, Larry, can Drew Brees make amends and turn this corner?
I mean,
oh boy,
probably. I mean, probably because black people are so forgiving. Sometimes more so. I shouldn't say that. I was going to say probably more than we should be. But, people need to do what's in their heart. If they feel forgiveness in their heart, then they need to forgive. But, it's one of those things. It's like once you say something like that, then people know what's in your heart. And they realize who you are. And when you come back and you say something really quickly like that to try and cover it up, it doesn't always ring true. It just sort of says, okay, you recognize you said something that's damaging to your brand, and you don't want to have to deal with the long-term consequences of it. So you're going to go ahead and apologize. And so, it's see, here's the thing for me that would be that if there was somebody who was just a long-standing racist, somebody who was just known to be a bigot, if David Duke came out and said, I've been talking with some people and my eyes have been opened up. I didn't, I was led astray for a long time. I led a lot of people astray when I was in positions of leadership. And if he came out and said he had a change of heart, I would probably take that more. I would probably believe that more, because that's somebody who is always professed to be a racist. He wasn't, when you get someone like Drew Brees, it makes you wonder, what do they say in private? If this just floated out their mouth at this time, what have they been saying in private? And how much of this apology can you actually believe? Because it doesn't seem like, I'm not going to say whether the apology is genuine or not. That's not up to me to decide. I can decide it for myself if I believe it, but it doesn't feel genuine to me. It feels just like he's trying to get past that stupid statement. He's trying to protect his brand. He's trying to protect his income. And, that's really that seems really what it is. Because, if he didn't have to worry about what people thought, he probably would have said that and more. It's just the problem is that when you are a public figure like that and you make money off of people, that buy stuff from, when you have minorities and people that are socially conscious buying products that you are promoting, whether it be some sort of product or football tickets or whatever, you have to protect that brand. And at the same time, if you become some sort of pariah and your team is basically like, look, man, you're good, but you're not that good anymore. Not that you're not good enough to deal, for us to deal with all this headache. And not to mention, if you have a whole bunch of black players on your team, which he does, everybody in the NFL does. If his teammates are just like, yeah, cool, I'm not playing with him, and if they all try and say, well, you guys are in breach of contract, if all the black players on that team just simply say, we're not playing with him, do what you're going to do, but we're not playing with them. We'll go to the players. We'll go to the players union. We'll file whatever complaints for a hostile work environment. We'll make a big public stink out of it. I mean, he has a lot more to worry about by, when he says something stupid like that. So I understand why he'd come out really quickly and make that statement. I understand why he even would push back on the president, but I'm just not sure if it's just wholly genuine. I mean, I've seen people that have made I have made roundabouts in my life about certain things. I grew up in a family which was really bigoted towards gay people, and it took me a lot of years to sort of turn that around in my personal life so that I wasn't calling people the F word and wasn't thinking of gay people in some sort of derogatory way. It took a long time to get there. And when you have, either friends that have brothers that are gay or sisters that are gay or a family member's gay or something like that, you start to change the way you think and see stuff, because it's easy. If you're like, oh man, I know this dude, I've been knowing this dude forever, I like him, we're cool, we've hung out, and then it turns out dude's gay or the woman's gay, you're like, well, I'm supposed to hate you now because of who you sleep with? I don't care who you sleep with. You still, they're still cool. So I mean, but the thing is, it takes people. I don't really truly believe that if people hold these things dear to their heart, or they have these long-term feelings about something and strong convictions, I don't believe that those things are changed overnight. And so one of two things is true here. Either his convictions towards the country are not very strong, and so what he was saying about the flag was utter and complete BS because he doesn't have any true patriotic convictions, or the apology that he gave is BS because he just didn't make a genuine, honest roundabout, that quickly. One of the two is true.
I think completely the apology was BS. However, his wife has even came out and said that they was wrong, but look at what it took. People have threatened them. And because of that, they now have apathy for what the black people are going through, because she didn't know it was that serious. So she felt like because what Drew said took people aback so much, as if he's choosing the flag over human beings. The wife said they got threats because of that, and now she feels like they're getting it. I've always told my wife that it shouldn't be like this, but oftentimes people don't get it until something in their life happens to them for them to understand whatever it is you're going through, or just like you said, you need to be a friend of someone who's going through something that you don't understand. But we read books, we learn, and it shouldn't come down to you have to experience what I'm going through in order to see me going through or know the plight I'm going through to get where I need to go because of what I'm dealing with. And I think that at this moment, not really, but I think it's in his brain now. I think he's thinking about it. And I think that over time, because this incident happened, he might start working toward, instead of it just being an apology, he's going to put actions with it. And I've heard a lot of people try to come out and say, well, this man has done a whole lot of good in the community. He's spent XYZ amount of dollars. And I always tell them people spend dollars to ease their conscience. That doesn't mean that they give a flying flip about the cause. Not to mention, I hate to be the guy who's the old man on the porch, but all that stuff is charitable donations. You get to take it off your damn taxes. You're not getting it for free. You're not giving it up for free. Now, mind you, you don't have to give it to the charities you're giving it to, but at the end of the day, if people were forced to give of their heart without getting a kickback, you would not see as many charities getting what they're getting. However, I'm not saying that's why Drew Brees did it. I'm just saying that just because someone gives to a cause or gives to several causes doesn't mean that they believe in the one cause we're fighting for, which is equality for all.
Right. No, I agree.
So
I agree. And I think time will tell. I mean, unless I just don't truly believe, unless someone has a truly traumatic experience that makes them really, recognize something in a flash. I think some of these white kids that are out there protesting, probably some older white people too, they're probably getting a real hard lesson in what the police are all about. When black people have been telling them for decades that the police are brutal and they will beat you in a heartbeat, and they're not the good people that should be trusted and that you go ask for help. No, they are dangerous, brutal individuals that have the legal right to take your life and your freedom. And when a lot of these kids that grew up thinking, I mean, I was a son of a cop. I was taught to trust the police. But when you go out there and the cop hits you like hit you like he's trying to beat you to death with a billy club, and they're yanking your face mask down so they can spray tear gas directly in your mouth and eyes, that's not the behavior of a civilized individual. That is, and I think a lot of these people are starting to see that, and it's changing their perception about the police. And some people that are getting beat and attacked, it's changing their opinions about the police in an instant. But if you don't have a traumatic experience like that, you're not going to get it just because your teammates are upset with you. Just because you said something unpopular, it's not going to change. What it's going to change is what you say. It's not going to change what you feel.
So you hitting on a point with the next subject we're going to cover. So I'm going to finalize Drew Brees by saying, if you want us to believe that you're sincere, you've got to do it through behavior. And that's just not going to happen overnight. I believe you're doing the right things to get back into good graces, but keep doing what you're doing. Be a voice for equality. We're just asking you to be a voice for equality. Keep fighting that fight. And I think over time, Drew Brees, you might can win some people back over. You were talking about the police.
I'll just say this too, is for other people, for other folks. And this goes for, I mean, not just for celebrities, but obviously for them, because they have a big platform and people pay attention to what they say. But in the midst of these issues, whether it be, civil rights for minorities, or gay rights, or women's rights with all the Me Too and all, if you don't have anything good to say, just shut up. Just hold your tongue and shut up. Don't go try and make some false equivalency. Don't try and take some ridiculous fake patriotic stance. Just shut up.
No, I'm gonna disagree with my partner on that one. Say whatever the hell you want to say, so I can know exactly what I'm dealing with.
I agree. As an individual, I love when these people expose themselves. But I'm just saying, as personal advice, if you don't want the grief and the drama, just shut up. The amount of whatever, I mean, if you just look at a cost-benefit analysis, the cost that statement made outweighed any benefit it was going to give him. Mm-hmm. I mean, the benefit would have been what? Maybe some instantaneous gratification that he made some ridiculous patriotic statement that no one truly believed anyways. And now all of a sudden he's backtracking. I mean, basically what he says is that either I don't believe in what I just apologized about, or I don't believe in my patriotism, and the whole stuff with the flag is fake. I don't believe in either one. I mean,
and the thing is, there's legitimately a way you can believe in both. He could have done it. He could have worded it in a way where he said he believes in both, but he didn't. He told you what he was feeling. He told you what he was feeling. And so I hope he can turn around, because, Larry, I was a Drew Brees fan. I was hurt. When we went to New Orleans last year, I was trying to find Drew Brees. I was dead. When this, I was telling I'm about to take all my Drew Brees stuff and burn it. And then I said, you know what? Let me see how he comes back from this. He's about to retire this year. And, so many black people, thought that he was doing such good deeds. But it comes down to one of them things. You never know what somebody does, and they get behind the voting booth. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many good deeds you do. If you're still voting for a party that's not about equality for everyone, you're still hurting the American race, period. I mean, you can call me whatever you want, but that's just the truth. And we've been told that we need to learn to get along with our political cohorts, no matter what they say, what they do. And I'm just here to tell you, that's just not true. That is just
Right.
not true. It's called icing on the cake. All the
Right.
money people throw into charities, like I said, you do get a tax breaks for that. It's just icing on the cake so that they can get out and
Right.
say, hey, I did this, I did that. And then they'll go and vote in a manner that's taking everything away from you that they just basically gave you. Just simple as that,
Right.
man. Now, speaking of that, Larry, I'm going to pivot to the police thing right now because I want to know what you mean. What is your definition and how do you feel about this thing they're floating around about defunding the police? What does that mean to you when you hear that statement?
To me, what that means is revamping the police departments as they are. It means to me that they stop paying officers for all kinds of tasks that they should not be doing. What it means is that if you have a police department with a $500 million budget, that you stop giving them $200 million to go buy armored tanks and military assault rifles and combat caliber body armor and all the other stuff. You stop having them buy all that stuff as if they are going to war with the citizenry. What you do is you redirect that money to pay for other stuff like mental health care professionals that can work with the department. So when there are calls that someone's having a psychotic break, that you don't send a 23-year-old, officer who's barely out of the academy and doesn't have any psychological, doesn't have any mental health training, and you send them there with nothing but a gun and some training on how to subdue people. Instead, you actually have professionals that can go there, that can deal with these people and can get them into a place where they can say, okay, we've calmed the situation down. We've got this person stable, and now we can get them to help. And it may be that you have a series of PAs on staff that are like mental health professionals, like mental health specialist PAs that can actually administer medication. So maybe the person's there and you need to give them a sedative. Cops can't show up at a scene with somebody and give them a sedative. They're not medically trained for that. They don't have the approval for that. They don't have the licensing for that. But if you have people that can do that, then you take a lot of the violence out of situations. It's the same thing if you're dealing with kids. Stop having schools with 10 or 15 police resource officers, and you have one counselor for 2,000 students. I mean, that's insane. What? I mean, you don't need all. If you invest in the counselors to talk to the kids, to deal with the kids, to help them as they go along, then you don't need the policing to begin with, because the kids don't get into trouble. They have someone to go to, they have someone that can guide them. They are guidance counselors. That's what they can do. When you have a kid who thinks, I can never go to college, fuck this, I'm tired of this shit, I'm just going to go join my gang, I'm going to join my local street gang and just get my hustle on. Well, if you have a guidance counselor that recognizes this kid is brilliant, you can tell him, hey man, look, I recognize you have an aptitude for robotics, and let me show you how much money these people are making. And this guy may look at this and be like, oh crap, I can go sell drugs and make a few $100s or a few $1,000s on the weekend, or I can go and become a robotics engineer and make hundreds of thousands of dollars after I get out of college. And so, but you need people to guide them in that direction. And instead, what we have are police officers that are making everybody in our schools feel like criminals. And when you make someone feel like something for long enough, they're going to start to act like it. And it's the same way within our general community too. If you stop over policing people and start providing people with resources, people will have better they will have a better society. People will treat themselves better. They will treat their fellow man better. There's still going to be crime, and you're still going to need law enforcement officers, but those people that are there they will be able to handle those situations better.
Okay. So if that's
and that's
really
what I mean by defunding. I don't mean
okay.
when I think of defunding the police departments, I don't think of just saying, okay, we're gonna stop paying police officers, and so there's not going to be any money for the police department. No, when I think of defunding police departments, I mean stop paying stop with these ridiculous budgets. Stop with these budgets where you have, your city has a $10 billion budget and $1 billion of it's going to the police department. You don't need that. I mean, come on, you don't need that. Unless you happen to be New York City that has all those terrorist divisions. That's a different story because they're dealing with all that terrorism crap. They have all these special federal grants. And even then, they need to have part of the thing with defunding police departments. They need to bring in specialists. Like there's no reason why they should have a regular old beat cop show up to deal with somebody who's having a psychotic break. They're not equipped to handle it. As I heard one police chief on TV say, not every police officer is trained to deal with every situation. They were like, some of the police officers that are out there doing crowd control, they shouldn't be doing crowd control. Not every police officer is equipped to do that. And maybe it doesn't even matter because we look at those officers in Buffalo. These were people that were on a special team that are trained for crowd control. And as far as I understand with crowd control, part of that is de-escalation. They made no attempts to de-escalate anything. They went from 0 to 100, So, I think part of the thing with defunding these departments is that they need to fire everyone. Everyone. I don't care if you're the chief or if you are the brand new recruit out of the academy. Everyone needs to get fired, and they need to make every single person reapply. And that's the way they need to go through their background checks again. They need to go through their psychological examinations again. They need to go through their fitness exams again. They need to go there. Now, if you've been on the department, or if you've been on the what's up, T Streams? So if you've been on the job for 5 years or 10 years or something like that, maybe you don't need to go back through the academy, but you definitely need to go back and have your background checks again, your psychological checks again, your fitness checks again to make sure you're still capable of doing that job, because there's a lot of stuff that people do in those 5 and 10 years. They're not the same person that they were. And if you have all these issues, one of those guys that was on that got arrested from George Floyd had been on the job for 4 days. 4 days.
And so T-Streams, what we're talking about is defunding the police department and what a definition is. And Larry just gave a very good definition. And I asked Larry for the definition because I'm getting worried. I was getting worried because when you ask all these people on TV, the politicians, to give a definition of what it means, no one could give a clear answer. And so I'm almost against the idea or the terminology of defunding the police, because the first thing people think of that the Republicans are using is they're trying to abolish the police. And that's not what we're calling for. We're calling for reforming the police department to make it a better place. But what I'm seeing happening is there's been this coalescing behind defund the police of people who were starting to sway that maybe we should be doing more for equality in Black people. But now that our president is making it, I'm not going to defund the police. He's making it seem like you're just trying to wipe out the police. And some people are starting to think that's what it's going down. Do you think that right now, should we use that terminology or should we use something different? Because we still got to get rid of enemy number one, which is Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think the term is a little bit misleading. I think the term is a little bit misleading by definition. And that was like the general consensus that I had first understood just from listening from outside sources and people that really didn't know as that ideal started circulating. I think if they're gonna, if that's the route that they're gonna take, maybe they should, clear up the language a little bit so it's more easily understood. But police reform definitely needs to take place. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, you see that just from the pop-up incidents that's going on in the middle of this crisis. So it definitely lets you know that it's something definitely needed in that area. And I do hope that they get around to it. And so hey.
One of the good things about this too is T-Streams is that because so much of these protests have been filmed, not just what the news is showing us, but filmed by individuals with their cell phones, with their cameras, whatever they have out there, where they're able to record the raw happenings at these protests, front, point of view version. You're seeing the brutality of these officers. And so they cannot make the argument that these are bad apples, that it's just one bad officer out there. No, what you're seeing is this is the way they are trained to respond to the citizens, and they are brutal and they are violent, and people are they're able to see this firsthand and see, oh, okay, this is what Black people deal with when they're not really even doing anything. And now, because we're out here saying something about it, the police have turned their batons and their tear gas and their rubber bullets on us. Right. And, and so I think the fact that people are seeing it is changing a lot of people's minds. And I think people have been saying it feels different. It feels like this can be a sustained movement. Mm-hmm. And I think it might very well be. I hope that it is, But I think it's very important that people are actually able to see it, because when you watch the news does show some of the stuff that police are doing. But when you look at social media, you see so much more. Like some of the stuff that's happening that's on social media, it may never have gotten to the news, know? But like the old man getting pushed down, we may never have seen that. There wasn't news cameras there.
Larry, speaking of that old man, would you believe that I was in a right-wing group? And you want to know what they had to say about that old man? I can't make this stuff up. I really can't make it up. Larry, there was a thread with one guy saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is all made up to make the police look bad. You want me to tell you how many likes that particular thread had?
I'm sure it had plenty.
I can't make this stuff up, man. It had 500 likes, like 80 comments, people really believing that homeboy put some ketchup in his ear to get pushed down and have the ketchup fall out of his ear.
Wow.
I can't.
Yeah, and I guess he planned to go to the hospital and still be in the hospital days later. I'm sure he planned for all that.
Oh, all of them were staged. And ladies and gentlemen, to keep the movement going, just go to shoplifegains.com, get your t-shirts, wear the movement. Keep it going by wearing it. Have something to remind you that we are still fighting for equality. And these are some of the people that have done it for you and helped you out, and some of the causes we're fighting for. Now, T-Streams, we're pretty much done with all the politics and the pop culture stuff. So you don't walk right on in. You skip first period in class, just like I used to do when I was out there messing around with all them girls. You skip first period just so you can come in for the fun period. Now we're going to review a movie called Cut Off. It's going to be right up your alley. Larry, I don't think you're going to want to have anything to do with this movie whatsoever. I don't think you're going to want to have anything to do with it, but here we go.
Nope.
Man, ain't nobody asked you yet, man. Damn it, man. Can T-Streams get some glean? I'm gonna give it to you first, T-Streams. You already know that's a day one for me. But what about you? How you feel about it?
Right, say, man, that's right up my alley, and I think, man, it would be good to have a really nice, good psychological thriller surface. Is that going to the movies or is that straight to VOD?
They didn't say yet, man. It's supposed to come out August, so they're not saying that. They're trying to say the movie, but we don't know yet. We don't know. So I guess tentatively movie theater in August.
Yeah, it looks, it looks pretty dope, man.
It looks good. It looks dope. I am here for it, man. Scare me that I'm soaking wet in the theater. Larry, should I even ask you?
I'm gonna go see Milan.
Man. God. See, you know what? If my child was here right now, I would say, you want to go to the movie, go with your Uncle Larry. Because I'm going to see this scary flick right here. Go with your Uncle Larry. Go and take your little sword, put on your little dress, be a princess, and go with your Uncle Larry. While your daddy gonna go in here and get it in and get the bejesus scared out of his feet.
Yep, we'll meet you. Me and her will meet UNT Streams right outside when it's all over.
Yeah,
and
man.
You guys will be up there, but having nightmares. We'll be up there laughing, eating our jujubes and popcorn.
Hey, as long as you paying for it, go for it. I took some kids to the movie theater. I don't know if I told y'all the story. I went with my homeboy, and I'm the godfather of one of his kids. But he had his kids and some of their friends. They all came. They young kids too, man. I'm talking like 8 years old, young. So they was like, we want to get some snacks to watch this superhero movie. So you know what? I pulled out the business card. I said, go get what you want. I'm thinking these little jokers gonna go buy, maybe one lollipop. Man, these fools come back with the credit card. They done spent $90, man. And then wouldn't even give me one kernel of popcorn. Wouldn't give me nothing. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna start sending them kids with somebody else. How in the world you spend $90 with like 3 kids at the concession stand? So, Uncle Larry, don't when I say Uncle Larry, you know what it means now. Don't be running.
Time to take the key.
Yeah, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is.
I hear you, but see, I have rules when I send people to the concession stand. I'm like, you can pick out one big tub of popcorn for everyone, and then everybody gets one thing, and that's it.
Hey, bro, I learned my lesson. Don't ever let them take the card and go by themselves. They just, it was a laughapalooza up in that joint, man. They was, kids were buying stuff I know good and damn well they wouldn't eat by themselves. That little boy had pretzels. He had popcorn. He had some kind of caramel drink. I started to sniff his cup to see if he had got some alcohol. I was like, damn, dude.
Can't even eat it all. Just
took me the hell out, man.
Oh,
boy.
There you go.
So it's Marvel time, and we got some new Marvel news. I love finding these leaks. These leaks are better than a $3 stripper. I just got to tell you, I love these Marvel leaks. And I got one for y'all. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Larry's channel. Check my man T Streams out on Facebook. Today, Marvel is going to be introducing another god that's going to rival Thor. Take a look at this.
Today, we're going to be talking about the new god coming to the MCU and the interactions he could have with Thor. In an exclusive from the Cinema Spot, Vicky DePledge stated that Hercules is coming to the MCU in the near future. It's unclear whether this would be in the form of a supporting role or a lead role in his own project, but there were once rumors that Hercules would appear in Marvel Studios' The Eternals. However, those rumors have since been put into doubt, and it's more likely that the casting call in question was for Icarus, who's being played by Richard Madden. For those of you not familiar with the character, Hercules the son of Zeus is a long-standing character in the Marvel Comics, first appearing in Avengers number 10 in 1964. Since then, he's regularly appeared in Thor and Avengers comics throughout the decades, and has had a few encounters with Hulk, even playing a role in the World War Hulk storyline. He also has a partnership with Amadeus Cho, who later becomes Hulk. Similarly to Thor, Hercules is a god, but unlike the Asgardian, he hails from Olympus, and his half-brother Ares is a recurring enemy and has a deep rivalry with him. And there's a couple places that would make sense for him to appear in, and possibly very soon. Hercules could appear in the Eternals, as he was rumored to be in the movie, although like I said before, that's been debunked, but they still have superficial ties to the gods of Olympus, so there's still a possibility. He could also appear in She-Hulk, as he has major connections to Hulk, and Amadeus Cho, who's rumored to be coming. And lastly, he could appear in Loki. The Asgardians are gods, and Hercules has had many interactions with Thor in the comics, so him appearing in some way in the Loki show wouldn't be out of the question. But let's talk about something else that this seemingly confirms. In Avengers number 10, Hercules debuts alongside Immortus, which is an alternate version of Kang the Conqueror, who's been heavily rumored to appear in the Loki show and be not only the Young Avengers villain, but also the villain for Phase 5. However, we do find out later through a retcon that this Hercules was an imposter, meaning that the real Hercules officially appeared the following year in 1965's oversized annual, Journey into Mystery alongside Thor.
And guess who they are saying is going to be playing Hercules? They, from what I'm hearing from my insider sources, the ink is already on the table. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson is going to be Hercules in the MCU. Larry,
Really?
I'm gonna give it to you first, Larry. Are you excited to see another man, another strong person come to the MCU?
I'll tell you the thing that I like about the idea of The Rock playing Hercules. It's gonna piss white people the fuck off.
Why is that?
It's gonna piss them off because all those racist dudes love to talk about Thor and Hercules as their Nordic white gods and stuff. So if they all of a sudden they have a black dude playing Hercules, woo, they're gonna.
Man, they like The Rock, man.
They do like The Rock, but there's
like
gonna be a lot of them that are gonna still be upset. Personally, I would have liked to seen that dude. Do you remember that dude from did you ever watch that show Banshee?
I never watched it.
There's a show called Banshee, and he was also on another show called Perfect Harmony. But is a big dude. I believe he's a Native American dude, but he's huge. He's just a big dude, and he's got this big bassy ass voice. That dude would be. I think he'd be a great superhero. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him in there and something like that. Because I haven't seen many Native Americans in any of these superhero movies.
Me neither. T-Streams, are you going to bring out your cane and go see Hercules in the MCU
in 2024?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm gonna try to skedaddle on up in there to go check it out. At the end of the day, I'm still a diehard fan, man. So we'll make the best out of it.
Yo, man, I'm there for it, man. I'm wondering, will they sprinkle him into the Eternals? I doubt that they bring him full bore. It might be maybe the post-credit scene. But in terms of him having a major role, I doubt that he gets a major role in the Eternals. But I can definitely see them doing a Thor versus Hercules, the two mythologies going against each other, because that's just something that you've heard. That's a story that's been told before there was even a Marvel. So I'm excited for it. And, hey, I'm here for it, too.
Is he already signed on for it?
All the rumors are speculating he's going to be playing it.
Yeah, I just hope they don't water it down and stick. If they can stick close to the comic book storyline. If they're going to have The Rock, roll that line, even though it's been many years since he played the Scorpion King. I want to see if The Rock is going to get into one of those like hero type or a legendary hero type roles. You want to see it. You want to see it done right. But I don't think that they would just give him something bogus. But
no,
I don't think that they should make the introduction in the Loki series, especially for the made for TV series. I don't think that would put the right light on that introductory. But if they're gonna and I also think like you, man, I don't think he's gonna have a big role in the Eternals. That's if so, I think some news of that probably would have been circulating around a little while ago. So, but I'm eager to see it. I want to, I like to see The Rock and and Chris sort of bang it out, or however they're going to do it.
Okay. I'm curious, T-Streams. What do you think The Rock will want to do another franchise? Because he's already got two. He's already has the Fast and the Furious franchise. He has the Jumanji franchise. And if you start looking at doing any Marvel thing, that's like a good 10-year commitment. Because the way they build stuff out.
He's already signed up to be Black Adam. That's ink. We know that's a fact. He is Black Adam in DC. So if he really is about to be Hercules in Marvel, he's probably not going to have his own movie. He's probably just going to be popping into people's movie for maybe 30, 40-minute sets. I don't think they're going to do a full-fledged Hercules movie, but it is confirmed he is definitely Black Adam. But they're saying that they've got him inked to be Hercules.
Okay. Well, hey.
Hey. All right,
I'm not mad at it.
Hey, me neither. All right, fellas, we're going to the financial news now. We've got some Tesla news, some stock news, and first, let me give you guys the Tesla news. So, you guys know I own the Model 3, and one of the things that has been an area that people want to know is there's this term called phantom drain. Phantom drain is basically how much energy does the battery lose if you leave it parked somewhere. Let's just say you go to the airport and you're going to be gone for 2 weeks. Will you have some energy in your car when you get back because you left it in the airport? Well, someone decided to do it. One of my homies in the Tesla community. I'm going to let you hear the information he got back. Take a look at this.
We get the values based on the actual distance-based range reported from the vehicle. What we do is calculate a range delta between each vehicle log. If it's negative when the car is idle, it goes towards the phantom drain total. And the sum of those negative deltas while idle in a period of time is what you're seeing in the app. So basically they ping the vehicle every once in a while and they look at the difference in between the range remaining since the car was last pinged. And if that changes negative, then they add those miles to the phantom drain total miles. But the car is also doing some recalculating on its own part, so those miles might change a little bit and might not match up to what TesLab is showing. And that can create some errors over time, especially if there's just small changes in that recalibration over time. Those can really add up. But if we look at the data I originally got from when I did the test, in week 1, there's between 21 on the low end and 26 on the high end of phantom drain miles per night, with an average about 23 miles per day. But after adjusting that data, TesLab is showing a total of 120 phantom drain miles versus 144 originally. So that brings the average over 7 days down to 17 miles, which is more in line with what I saw from the Tesla app. Week 2, we saw about the same results as the Tesla apps. We saw between 0 and 2 phantom drain miles per day, with a total of 6 miles at the end of the week. So what does all this data mean and how can it help you out with your EV? First off, I would suggest you, if you own a Tesla, is to leave your car plugged in if you are going to leave it idle for more than a day or two. It's actually good for the battery, and what the manual recommends for Tesla vehicles is to leave it plugged in. The car will do all of the charging and discharging as necessary to keep your car at whatever charge level you want. It's not going to overcharge the battery or anything like that.
So, fellas, I've done this myself just to see how much energy my car loses. I'll leave it unplugged. I left it unplugged for like 5 straight days just to see how many miles really comes off the car, right? I lost no more than, I'm close to what he lost. I lost like 13 miles. That's all I lost.
That's interesting.
And just depend upon how, I think I noticed that. I've also done this when I had the car fully charged.
Now, when you say 13 miles, do you mean 13 miles total or 13 miles per day?
Per day.
Okay.
Per day. Per day. But I noticed when I had my car closer to being full, instead of 13 miles, I only lost like 5 to 10 miles a day. And mind you, I probably wouldn't have had lost those miles had I not had the automatic cabin cooler on. I didn't think about that, so that's my bad. So I need to go back and test it when I completely have the car completely off, no Sentry mode on, no nothing. But with the cabin cooler on, the car parked outside the house, and Sentry mode on, over that period, when it was above 75% charge, I lost about 10 miles. When it was 50% and less, I lost about 13 a day, which is still not bad. That's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
Man, I'm like so far behind on them Teslas. I feel like I need a completion certificate just to be able to sort of catch up on that.
Hey man, that's why I'm going to start doing these videos, man, because I heard another black person who said some stupid ass stuff. He was like, first of all, he's driving all these miles each and every day. He's blowing gas money. He's driving a Pathfinder. So he's blowing through mileage like it's nobody's business. I mean, he's eating them like Nell Carter used to eat apple pie. He's just blowing through them. And I was like, bruh, you're paying 50 grand for this SUV. Your maintenance is really high. Oil change for him costs like $110. and one tire costs damn near $400. I said, you paying all this money on a Pathfinder. Why not get this car that I'm driving? You're not going to have to worry about the gas. You don't have to worry about maintenance, and it's cheaper than what you got. Man, I ain't messing with no Tesla. I said, why not? Everything you just said was an argument for you needing a Tesla. You're driving like 80 to 90 miles a day. And you just complain about you only getting 11 miles a gallon. You got the money, and you're talking about getting another car, which y'all know as a financial guy, that rubs me the wrong way. You ain't even done paying for this one. It's like a 2018. But you're complaining about the mileage and the maintenance and all this stuff, but you don't want to get a Tesla that's cheaper and it's going to rid you of those bills. He was like, man, I ain't getting no Tesla. He couldn't give me no reason why other than I just ain't getting no Tesla. I was like, well, then fuck it. Pay the bills. And don't complain to me. Don't complain to me about you trying to do better financially if you're really not going to do that.
So tell me this, with you owning the Tesla, which model do you have?
Model 3.
Okay. So with this model, you're actually able to see a visible difference in, in like maintenance costs or just we'll just rally everything up into operational costs. So you actually really able to see a visible difference in operational costs with owning one of those as opposed to, something else. You understand what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
My car is at 20,000 miles right now. By the time you get to 20,000 miles on any other new car, you've had to have your oil change at least twice. At the very least twice. That's $80 right there. I mean, right there. And also, when you do the math, let's just say you take your best, most fuel efficient vehicle, and let's say you're getting 40 miles a gallon, and gas here where I live at is $1.50. I haven't paid no money for gas, and I just told you I put 20,000 miles on the car.
Right.
So imagine if I would have had to pay, 35 for 1 gallon. You do the math on that. I've saved all that money too. And not to mention the car self-drives. It appreciates in value because of the self-driving. And you get updates via the internet. You're not getting that nowhere else. And you're not getting a car that holds value so well and appreciates a little bit because of the technology in the car. It's just a no-brainer. So
let me ask you if I can. So I'm looking at like the Tesla website, and I've seen on here they have something called like the solar roof and the solar panels. Are those like extra options, or is that something that comes standard with their cars?
I don't know anyone who has a solar roof car.
Okay.
Now Tesla sells these solar panels that you put on your roof at your house, and then they've got these panels that are like the size of a refrigerator.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Then sorry, that's what it is.
Yeah, that you could put in the garage and capture the energy and literally almost kick your energy company to the curb because it stores that energy for you.
I thought maybe they had some sort of solar integration they were doing with their vehicles. Maybe that would help if you were because something like that I was thinking would be really helpful if you have to leave your car, for a week or two parked at an airport. You may not lose anything if you're constantly just sitting there getting a solar charge all day for 2 weeks. It may not be a lot, but it may be enough that you don't lose that 17 miles or 5 miles or whatever it is that you end up losing. So
right. But now the thing that the next phase for Elon is he's putting in or he's trying to. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. There's been talk about putting in charging stations at airports, but I don't know if that's going to go anywhere because they be trying to tell you a new one, putting anything at an airport. But he does put them close by the airport. So I don't even think that's really that big of a deal, honestly. Like I said, I've done a whole lot of testing this thing out. So that when I give you guys this information, I've already gone through it myself.
Now, how far away and I don't even know if they're looking at it, but how far away are they if they are looking at it from having wireless charging? So if you can have like a wireless charging place at your house and you just literally pull up, get out, and that's it.
Tesla is a long ways from it, but there is a company in Belgium that has that technology right now. I've actually tried to reach out to them, and you know why, Larry. I tried to reach out to them. Excuse me, they're a Dutch company. And I've tried to reach out to them where they've got a blue ball that's probably about the size of this thing right here. And it's got a back to it. You stick it somewhere outside, and all you have to do is just connect your car to that thing via Bluetooth, and it charges it. But the problem is it takes forever.
Yeah.
If you're really, really low, you're going to be there 8 hours with their thing. Now, I mean, it's good because they're forward thinking, but it's still going to take a long time. And so I don't think that Tesla has it anywhere in the next 5-year plan to put a wireless charger, but this company does, which is why I reached out to them. But at the same time, Tesla has started rebranding their old superchargers and putting in the V3 superchargers, which can get my car from empty to full in literally 12 to 15 minutes.
Whoa.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
I can't even charge my phone that fast.
Hey, that's why I'm telling y'all, get you a Tesla or get you some Tesla stock. Speaking of stocks, everybody that listened to me and bought Tesla in March when it was $430, you is loving me today because that stock closed like $9.55 today. God,
did it really?
Oh my God, it was unreal, man. It was unreal.
Wow.
But speaking of stocks in general, I'm going to show you guys there's something called dividends. This is something that companies pay when they make a profit in the company. They pay these to their stockholders. And I'm going to show you 7 companies that you might want to get because they do pay dividends every quarter, and one of them pays every month. So the first one on the list is, let me see here. All these companies that I'm showing you, they pay dividends. Disney does every quarter. And you might want to put some of these in your portfolio. I ain't messing with no Ford, so don't even ask me about Ford. They just been tanking left, so just don't even put that one in there. But definitely put you some Disney in there. Put some 3M in there, and that Alarian ETF. Those would be the ones I want you to get. And the Alarian ETF pays you a dividend each and every month. So those are some very good stock choices you guys can buy to leverage your individual investing so that you're covered, so you're diversified, and you're going to be making sure you get a dividend paid to you too. So if I had to pick some from there, I'm going with the Alarian ETF, I'm going with Disney, and I'm definitely going with Apple. The rest of them I'm not a big fan of. But today, a brand new ETF came on the stock market, and they're calling it the Millennials ETF. So, Larry, when you do tech reviews, you know I used to do that too. The stock that came online today is this thing right here. It's called Roundhill Gaming ETF. They're calling it the Millennials ETF simply because buried in this ETF is Penn Gaming, which I recommended to you all 3 weeks ago. But they also are harnessing money from esports. They're doing esports, they're doing DraftKings, they're doing online and offshore gambling, and they've got MGM all invested into this one stock ETF. And it went online today. It opened up at $16, ended at 17. If you guys want to make history and jump on a stock when it first starts, if you got $17, get you some of this tomorrow. If you can see down there, I went down there and bought 21 shares today. And I'm gonna just sit on those 21 and see what happens. But if you guys are interested in a great leveraging play, ETFs are great for that. And this one encompasses a $5 billion industry in esports. It's got some of your mainstay gambling opportunities, Penn Gambling, DraftKings, offshore sports booking. They've got all that in that one ETF, and Millennials was buying it left and right today. So that's your life game financials, and that's all I got. T-Stream, tell us what you up to, brother, because people want to know, what are you up to?
Man, you want to know what I'm up to?
Oh, boy.
You know, I had as you can see, I'm not in my usual spot. Plus, I'm a little tardy, man. I actually I partially opened up my shop today.
Okay.
A little bit. We still can't. I still can't do any of the salon components that we have, but the streams component, then I also have a clothing boutique and stuff like that. So we was able to get that up and set some criteria up. And then, I'm also getting ready, each year I host a block party, and we're getting ready for the 4th of July. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do it. And I got me some goodies here.
Oh boy.
I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you fill my screen up?
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me hit the button.
All right.
Okay, let me try it again.
Let's see.
Let me try it again. Let me try it again. No. That's about as good as I'm gonna get you.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So
Dang.
Hey man, what you running the artillery over there? What the hell?
I know, man.
So
What you?
I hope you put some no smoking signs up.
I hope so too. And no static electricity either.
Yeah, so we got some fireworks, man. I probably got enough now to do about a good 2 hours consistently.
Wow.
Wow.
So we normally we normally do that for the 4th of July, and just got my dunk tank in today, so I'm gonna try to pre-assemble that and just sort of see how it works. Maybe we can have some kids and their parents go sit on the dunk tank, and we throw these little bean bags and see if we can drop a few folks. But so this is what I've been up to. But for the most part, man, it was just real, getting in and trying to sanitize everything. And then like the last week or so, I've been going up there every day, just sort of trying to do some cleaning, redoing my floors, and trying to get all my stuff in order so that we can. I'm still sort of iffy on the salon stuff, though they're going to allow us to open on the 15th. But, at each of our little spots, I'm sort of nervous. I got these like overpriced dang on sanitizer stations and things, and try to keep masks and sneeze guards and stuff like that, man. But really, for our eyelash techs and stuff, how do you really do somebody eyelashes extensions with
a mask on,
face guard, and so right now it's a little bit of me sort of I don't want to hold nobody from working, but it's it's just really sort of hard trying to because you still have to use common sense, especially when you have to be that close, because there is no 6 feet when you're trying to do eyelashes or Brazilian waxes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa. I know you ain't think you was just gonna float that on by us like you in the market, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Did you say y'all doing Brazilian waxes? Whoa. Who doing that? You doing that?
I don't personally. All right.
Okay. Hey.
I know it may be a nice little side hustle to get off into, but
my God.
I'm gonna lead that to the text. But I got some bad news yesterday, man. My dang on my boxing coach, we haven't we still been out the gym because they hadn't opened up the boxing gym and stuff like that. So I don't even know when those are going to open back. But I just got the news yesterday that my boxing coach had passed away from COVID.
Man, I'm sorry, man. You've had so many difficulties.
I know.
Yeah, and then and I didn't, and another thing I didn't know because we hadn't, because I really hadn't had communication with, anybody really except my pad man, somewhat. But, I don't know if you guys knew, but I trained with Tony Harrison and, his team. And, he was the champ until he recently lost. I think it was in December to Jermell Charlo. He lost the belt to him. And his father passed away from COVID. And, he was like, he was like the head guy, the head coaching for everything. The one that's so for all the amateurs, when you turn pro, you sort of leave your old trainer and go up under him. So I don't really know how it's going to be. And then too, they're all family. So I really don't know how that's going to be, because now it's only one coach. It's only one coach left that was doing the amateur and pro circuit, what they call AmPro or Pro-Am circuit. And so I don't know if he can even take all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to chop it up with him just a little bit, just to sort of smooth things over. But man, it's hey, it's still rough out. Friday, I missed us Friday. My son, we went. Kids they've been deprived of their prom and stuff this year, so we didn't spent bread for this suit and shoes and all these decorations and stuff, and so we was like, forget it, we just gonna still do the send off like he going to prom. And I think it went off well. He actually enjoyed it. He say he enjoyed it better than he probably would have enjoyed his prom. So so that we did that Friday night, and got a chance to celebrate him, for the time being, being a new high school graduate. So now just hopefully he'll continue to stay focused and go do his RN program, and hopefully I wish the best for him. But outside of that, man, it's really just been trying to get back acclimated into some kind of semi-normalcy, while still being infused with everything that's going around me. Now I have been a little bad. Okay, so this is my public confession.
Oh boy!
All
right, and a couple of Hail Marys.
Well, I tell you what, man. Lately I have become a hellacious troll for man. These little undercover pop-up races that's been popping up on social media.
Lord have mercy.
And dude, hey,
look, you remember I told you about one that I dealt with on a particular platform last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, I've been serving them boys the business. I served them so bad that Facebook, I got this warning on my this big warning every time I open my Facebook up. It's on there for, I guess, for 7 days, but they said I violated they hate crimes or hate.
Oh Lord! What the hell?
So now when I open up my Facebook page, it has my profile picture, and then it has this old ugly glaring red banner with yellow writing with warning on it. And so they did tell me if I keep it up, they shut me down for 7 days, and then if I did it again, they would close my account. So it didn't slow me down, man, because one of the things that I really found out is that, you know, I have a lot of, you know, peers that I grew up with, man, that, you know, as they would say back in therapy, stinking thinking. They really have some stinking thinking, man. And it's, you know, it's overwhelmingly surprising to me, because some of these people are people that I actually, you know, were close to, you know, and I found myself having to, you know, remove a lot of people. And so, man, it's just, you know, I tell you what, man, this situation will bring out either the best in people or the worst in people. And I see it every single day.
It's peeling that scab off, I tell you that.
Yeah.
So-
People reveal themselves in times like this.
Yeah.
So everybody, that's where my man been at. So
Yeah.
y'all can't keep trying to tell me y'all gonna boycott my show, talking about I kicked off T-Stream. I told y'all I didn't. Ain't nobody kick off no T-Stream. He was busy being a good father. You heard the man, and a businessman. Don't y'all like a businessman? So stop threatening me by saying y'all gonna get rid of me and counsel me because I done something to you. I didn't do nothing to the man. Nothing.
Say, yeah, the bills still have to be paid, you know. And the crazy thing is, I went and paid the leases on all my stuff today. God, and dude, I was like really, really sick because, you know, I still have a pending application for the little stimulus package that they were supposed to send out for a business owner, and so I never got
the PPP or the EIDL.
The PPP.
Okay.
So I never did get none of that, you know. So, you know, and hey, one of my shops is over $3,000 a month just to sustain, and you know, like, and I was already pissing a fit because I don't understand how I had a $400 water bill, and hell, I only go up there like maybe twice a week just to flick on the lights, look around, and stuff like that, and like, well, damn, where is somebody coming in here to piss or drink water?
Right?
That's a whole lot of pissing and drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have stopped running, so you know, I don't think none of the ladies been in there, you know, doing things on the slide. But you know,
hopefully not $400 water's worth.
No, man, what they in there doing?
Man.
Cooking crack?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so yeah, that's really what I've been up to, man. And you know, just trying to chill. Friday was a long day, and then here I am. I'm like running because I did set up a fireworks booth. So we set up a little tent in the community. So we've been selling fireworks right like tent not too far from the one shop that we opened today. And so we was rushing trying to get it in and get back, and then I had to eat my little burrito. I'm like, it's 9:15, Lamont in the morning. So you know, it was. But sometimes, you know, sometimes those things happen. You know, I'm glad I was able to make it. Not my usual spot, but I'm glad I was able to make it, man.
Yeah, man. We glad to have you back, brother. And that's gonna do it for the whole entire last word, because I'm tired of these people threatening me, man. Look,
I do need one favor from you, man. I can't remember what was the name of that movie that we was talking about the other day, the horror film.
Quantum something.
Blood Quantum.
Blood Quantum, yeah.
Not that one. That was the one with the zombies.
Okay, yeah.
The one that had the freaky little kid. Remember we said it had the freaky kid. I may have to go back to that video and see it. I think we discussed it on Wednesday's show.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go dig it up. I forgot which one, man. I forgot which one.
Damn, I want to watch that Saturday night, and then still wasn't able because I was dang on waxing floors. So
Yeah, I'll dig it up for you. So, but ladies and gentlemen, he is back. He ain't left. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like it, comment, subscribe. Go check out my boy Larry on his channel. Check me out. Check out T-Streams on his Facebook. Be sure to go to shoplifegames.com. Buy one of the T-shirts, I Can't Breathe, Black Lives Matter. They're all in there for you. And until Wednesday and that Net Sex is Hell video, we will see you.
Peace.
peace.
Peace.